and better today.
I know. I'm like, happy summer. Like, what?
Let them take me as far as they want to go. And it's time for me to say, they won't break me, I'm braver than I know. I was made for this. Oh, such a time as this. I was made for this.
I would like to start with a cheers.
Yes.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Happy summer.
Woo!
And that's how we'll start the episode with our cheers to us and to you.
Oh, yes.
I know.
This will be good.
So we're
I'm so
actually
excited.
recording today from the top of the McKay Towers. I just had to remember where we were for a hot second.
Look
Pretty
at
much,
this.
if you know the building that has the giant dome on the top of it, we can literally see the dome right above us right now,
Yes.
and it's absolutely incredible.
It's amazing.
Today, what we were going to talk about is the little things that make a big difference.
I made a deliberate decision to start doing that during COVID, actually. And it came out of I noticed I was just becoming more and more angry and irritable and snarky. But then I saw that everyone around me was feeling the same way.
Right.
And I'm seeing the same thing. And then it's over and it's replicating and it's getting bigger. And it felt so oppressive and dark and ugly. And darkness can build and feed and
Oh, it's contagious too. Yeah.
and it didn't feel good.
Mhm.
And I've always said that, yes, you can choose joy. You can choose. You can. I didn't ever say it was easy, but I said
Right.
you can. So I made the deliberate decision. I'm going to start trying just one by one with people that cross my path. Maybe I can bring a smile. Maybe. Because I know I need it.
Right.
And I know how it feels. So I'm going to try that. If I think it, I say it.
Yeah.
And I would love for that to be more of the norm. Make that contagious.
Yes.
I mean, you are vibrating and radiating joy. You make me excited just to be in your orbit right now. I love that. Now imagine a world full of people like
Oh.
that.
Right.
Imagine
and to
that.
me, I feel like it takes less energy. It takes less effort. We know
Mm-hmm.
scientifically smiles take less muscles on your face than a frown, you know? And so what
Yes.
if people are being fueled by the compliments that we're giving them,
Yes.
but like you said, they're being fueled at the same time. And so to me,
Mm-hmm.
that ripple effect is so much stronger than the negativity.
Have play dates. Women
love
need to
play
get
dates.
out and play.
Adult sandbox dates with adult
Here's to
juice
that.
boxes.
Yes.
Cheers. We love you
Cheers.
guys.
Mwah.
Bye. Well,
All right.
welcome.
Hi.
We are filming today from Anabawen Park. I think I'm saying that correctly. And if I'm not, I'm owning it. That's how I'm
Have
saying
you
it.
tried saying that to the maps?
Oh,
thing?
the maps has
I-
no idea.
Because when we're driving, my car is like, you can only do voice. I have to tell it.
Okay.
So I had said Anabawan. It had me at some place 33 hours away, and
33
then some.
hours?
I'm like, that's not even remotely close to what I said. And then I'm like, do I talk like I'm a mush mouth and
Right.
maps can't? So
No.
now I'm trying to really enunciate, but I feel that it makes me spitty. So
Okay. We will start today with a cheers.
cheers.
We're drinking our water.
Lemonade.
We have to at least get our story straight if we're going to say what it is.
Well, lemonade does have water in it.
I am
Yes.
so loving, first of all, that we're doing this on location everywhere.
It's amazing. And I love that we can feature Grand Rapids.
Yes.
I mean, this is our town.
I just feel like, you and I were kind of talking earlier about all the things that you can do in the summertime. Mm-hmm. You know, like even down here. How fun is it? You bring your kids down here, you
Yes.
go for a walk down these. I mean, there are so many paved paths in Grand Rapids.
Oh, it is
that you
such
can
a
walk down.
walkable town.
You can bring a stroller down it. You can bring those cute little bicycle things that don't have the pedals and let your
the
kids
little
just
balance
balancing
bikes
on
and
it.
they're
I mean,
we need to be walking more when
Yes.
we have the chance. Park further away and then walk through your city, walk
Yep.
through your town. I have discovered so many things in Grand Rapids on foot that I would have completely missed by car.
I don't want to be the mom that's like, I'll catch up with you guys or whatever. You
Or
know,
just, I'm going to sit here and you go do your thing. And,
right. And so I was like, oh, but it's so much work. This is what I said this morning. It's so much work. And he says to me, so you put like 100% in everything you do. Like you work really hard at everything you do and you put 100%. He's like,
Yes.
why do you not put that into yourself?
You
I would
don't
work
get
outside
this
all the time
sitting
if I
inside
could.
a car.
No, you
or
don't.
inside your house. Get outside.
Gosh.
You look super sassy and cute.
You
and
do
I like
too.
how we didn't even coordinate, and here we are in our black and white.
Like, so we're so in tune with each other that we plan our outfits in our brains without
we
chatting.
are. I like-
know. We're so good. Favorite thing is to find super, super cute clothes at secondhand, at,
sure.
you know, lots of the thrift stores, but also places like Plato's Closet and Style
Oh, yeah.
Encore
Yeah.
and all of that. And then to find it on the sale rack on those, like, oh, are you
I
serious?
get excited.
So Heidi,
Yes.
thank you for having us at your gorgeous lake.
I love having you out
This-
here. And how amazing
This
is
is amazing. Look at the sun coming down by congratulating you on your really awesome news. And I want you to tell everybody
I
what
am,
is
like,
your awesome news because we're
giddy.
so,
I am
so excited for you.
dorky, giddy.
Tell us why.
I have officially finished my college level classes and I am going to be ordained as a minister of chaplaincy. Yes!
Yay! Celebration moment. Cheers
yes,
to you
cheers
on finishing.
to that.
Talking about bucket lists. We're talking
Yes.
about the things that we have in our buckets that we want to get done
I'm
in
a
our
bucket
lives.
list fan. I think everybody should have one. So I did a bucket list before and crossed off everything on that bucket list because I wasn't going to be alive to do anything after. So I'm really excited to be talking about this because I've got a whole brand new fresh bucket list going. So
That is amazing. Tell me some things that are on your brand new fresh bucket list.
I want to hike a good portion of the Appalachian Trail
I love
before
that.
I die. I want to see the world before I die. I want to start and see replicated and growing support groups for women like I dream and envision them happening. What's the next bucket list item you're going to do?
Oh. I want to become a minimalist. Yes. Yep. That is.
Oh, I can't. That's why I love you.
But I
You're a
have to have my
kindred
husband
spirit.
jump in the bucket with
I think
me.
we're going to have
my
to live
children.
together and they're going to have to live together.
My
so.
whole family. I'm going to have a bucket big enough for us to all sit in because I'm married to a pack rat. No, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase. I'm married to a recovering pack rat. Well, cheers.
Cheers to
Let's end
that.
here. I love it.
Life
Bye.
is rough at the lake. Bye.
Today we're talking about parenting, like mothers and parenting and children.
Oh.
And I think that also is like a 2080. No, I'm just kidding.
Ooh.
No, but there are different parts
Yes.
that are awesome and wonderful. And then a lot of it is just the mundane,
hard.
everyday
It's hard.
stuff.
Moms don't seem to be allowed to voice openly the hard part about it. And it just reminded me, because I failed many times at the parent thing.
Oh, me too.
I am not going to tell
I
you.
still am.
I got it all right, because I did not. But I think the best thing, and we talked about this just a little bit ago, for those little ones, they look to you for consistent guidelines and instruction because they don't have anything figured out.
Yeah, I think that's, you have to be able to tell your kids no.
Yes.
You
And
have to be able to tell your teenagers
consistently,
no.
When you say no, if they continue, no matter how many times it takes in the beginning, you have to stop and address it every single time.
But you know, you bring that first baby home and you have quite literally no idea what to do, even though you've read all the books and you've done all the
Oh,
classes
isn't that-
and you've
I
done all
mean,
of that. And you're
that
like, wait,
first
wait.
one in the prep
wait.
you put into it.
Oh, yeah. Did you totally prep for your first?
I read all this stuff.
Yeah.
I wanted to, know it, everything, get it all right, and you're so excited and waiting that whole time, and then you have this baby and you're in the hospital and it's great and they're doing
Isn't
a
it?
bath
It's like a
and
little scene from a
so
movie.
good. And then you're in the wheelchair getting pushed out and you're like, oh, reality is really, really hitting.
I always try to weigh with all of the parenting, is me intervening and helping going to help them? Like, is their level of anxiety that they're getting from this worth the pain that I'm putting them through by pushing them through it? You know what I'm saying? So you
Absolutely.
always have to weigh that. Each individual child is
Yeah.
different. Each individual situation is different, you
Yes.
know? And so I always try to kind of gauge that, you know, because I'll push and push and push.
Right.
And then all of a sudden I'm like, ooh, and I
Okay.
see their heart and I see where
Yeah.
they're at. And I'm like,
Okay, they're at the end
this
of
is no longer
themselves.
worth it. And reach out. You don't have
Please
to do this
do.
by yourself. Like, we were designed to live communally, and
Yeah.
and it really does take a village.
It does.
Get started, teens.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Well, hi, welcome.
Hi.
We are here today. We are at Pinery Park today, and I'm really kind of excited to be filming here because
It's
I have
beautiful.
so many good memories at this park. I don't know about you, but I struggled really hard with my first time around parenting a teenager to remember not to be a teenager myself.
Oh.
Like, struggled real hard. Like, I just jumped on the teenager bandwagon and I was like, oh yeah, I remember what it feels like
this
to be
is
16. I can
great.
do this.
We're going to do this together.
Yeah, no, we can't.
Yeah, no. No. I know a lot of parents want to be friends with their kids. I understand that. And I think friendship is an element of it. But at the end of the day, those kids need you to be their parents.
But with teens, I had, and this is the honest hour. You guys know I'm super honest. It hurt my heart to all of the sudden not be needed in the ways that I was needed before.
Oh,
And so I'm
no.
putting it out there. That's a normal, natural thing.
Very.
It's a transition that the kids go through, but you go through as a mom as well. And then you're like,
Yes.
what is my place in my teenager's life?
So while those teens are at home, I'm going to tell you, Mama, while you're fighting with them again for the 19th time in the last 2 hours,
Yep.
cherish the time. 'Cause
Right?
it goes fast.
Our teens, even when they were not teens, but like, we drank.
Yes.
That's not, I mean, we drank on the show, you know, but we drink.
Water
We
and
we let
lemonade.
them taste it. Like, I'm like, here, you want
Yes.
to taste this? You know, most of them,
Yes.
gross,
Did
you know.
the same thing with
But
my
we
kids.
took all the curiosity away from it. Modeling, having things in moderation,
Yes.
you model that for your children.
Yes.
You know, we model that we always have a DD. When our boys were older and they started driving, we would say, if you're going to have anything to drink, either stay where you're at.
Yes.
We don't care if you're spending the night. Call us and say, you know,
Call
you
and let
can't
me
come
know.
home or whatever, or we
tell
will
me
come pick you
need a
up.
ride, and I will not be angry.
No judgment, no
I will
yelling.
be pissed off if you drove home drunk and you didn't.
Oh,
call
they
for
would
a
have
ride.
gotten in so much trouble. Like,
So.
so much trouble if I ever caught them drinking and driving. They care.
They do.
They care. They're not going to tell you it. They're not going to show it to you, but they
Yeah.
do. They
They're gonna
care.
Act like they don't care. So
Yep. So just remember that.
just love them. Love them hard. Love them fierce.
Love them.
Love them.
Because if you
love
want them to come and hang out with you in their 20s, you better do this in their teens. I have to get close enough to my microphone and let all of my mom bod hang out here.
Mom bods are great.
Cheers. Welcome to my back deck.
Yeah.
So today we're going to talk about empty nest.
Oh.
So last time we talked about teens.
Yes. Some of my kids did college,
Okay.
and 2 of them did Marine Corps.
Okay. When our kids are 18, they feel like they're adults, which they,
They
are. I'm
do.
not saying they don't, right? But I remember feeling at 18 like, oh, I'm an adult. I've
They
got
think
this.
they're once they've graduated high school, and like they start to leave the nest, whether it's for a job, whether it's for college, the military, whatever it might be, even their own place. The next phase of parenting starts, and this one I found out in a hurry. What this means is you've got to step back from they're in my house and I'm raising them,
Right.
parenting, to my job. Parenting like this is done.
Has to be that respect for their growth. To trust you, I have to respect that you
Yeah.
are an adult and
It's
you're
hard.
making your own decisions, and it is hard.
It's It's different for sure, but it's not that it's a bad different. It's becoming a good. It's
And like you
becoming
were
a
saying
good
before,
different.
it's a different chapter. It's just
It
a
is.
different, there's nothing wrong
is.
with it. It's just different.
Yes. My biggest recommendation, though, is you spend 18 or so years parenting, steering, directing, guiding. You need to really work hard to transition that into more of a support role.
Subscribe, like us.
Like us now.
Like, stop what you're doing and like us.
Stop, dropping.
No, really, stop what you're doing.
Stop,
No.
drop, and like.
Stop, drop, and like? What? Stop, drop, and subscribe. Stop, drop, and like. I would let you know, for all of you young people that are watching, we're going to talk about the taboo thing of sex.
We didn't have
Yeah.
any talk about sex
Oh.
other than you don't.
By the time my parents had the talk with me,
Is way too
I had
late.
already had sex. So I was like,
was-
I can tell you things.
Oh,
Would you
my
like me
goodness.
to educate you? I started dating a senior when I was a freshman.
Yep.
Do not let your freshman children date seniors. First of all, it's illegal. Second of all, don't do it. Anyways,
I can top that.
yeah?
I was 15 and my parents agreed to a 21-year-old dating me.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
That is also illegal.
So
But I did all of that and never really had a conversation about what it is supposed to look like, what the emotional ties, it was all a physical thing. Like, don't do this because it's against the Bible.
right.
Don't do this because you will be called a slut. Don't do this
Yes,
because of this stuff, you know?
Yeah.
But nobody ever had the conversation with me about what that does to you emotionally, mentally, all of that. So my husband is brilliant, and he has used the analogy of duct tape, right?
Okay.
So if you use
I
duct tape,
can't wait.
right?
Yes.
And you stick it the very first time you stick duct tape,
Yes.
it's hard to get peeled back up, right?
Right,
Like
yes.
that adhesive is like stuck,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
But if you take duct tape and you peel it up and you stick to somebody else, and then you stick it to somebody else, and you stick it to somebody else, and you stick it to somebody else,
It doesn't stick.
eventually there is a lack of stickiness.
Yes.
And it just becomes like that, you know?
It's
So
just
there's
a nothing. It
right.
doesn't. It's not
There's not
what
as
it's
much
not
of a
its
connection.
former self.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
a story about
Yeah.
that. Very first time my daughter's new boyfriend comes over to hang out with us, gonna make an impression. This wasn't you. So
He wants me to spit my
he's
drink
coming to
out.
make dinner. He picked out a movie to
Mhm.
watch. What was that animated? What was it? Sausage Party? He didn't know. He thought it was this funny animated. And he goes,
can't.
I'm a chef. I heard you like to cook, so I thought it would be a great way in.
Did he not read the description? He
didn't
just
know.
read the title.
So he pops it, and I'm like,
Oh!
bagels are fascinating things. So
Oh my gosh.
that was
Yes.
just like, he was mortified. My daughter is like, oh
Mm-hmm.
my. And I am like, I will never look at food the same again.
Nope. Nope.
You can have humor, but normalize it. Just like drinking.
Yep.
Or any other thing like that. If you just normalize it, it takes part of that
Okay.
drive to like, well, I'm going to do it because all I've heard is no, but
Right.
why?
Right.
Ah.
So we're going to cut off right there, and we will be back with our next episode, and we will continue the conversation.
Whoa.
Thanks for watching.
Let's talk about it.
We don't ever really grow up, do we? We just
No.
get older. Like that's
That's why
what
we
is
can talk about
I know.
this age group, because
Yeah.
I still remember that mindset. I still
I do
remember
too.
how I saw the world.
My most vivid memories in my life start at 13. Like
Yes.
so I can remember prior to that, and it's like bits and pieces, and I kind of, I remember different things. But 13, like late 13, almost 14,
Yes.
is when I can remember all of that. Our teenagers do not look at us like we are human beings. They don't. We are their parents. We're in a whole different, you know what I'm saying? Like we're in a different category. They don't see us as
don't
real people.
identify.
Exactly. Like you guys don't understand. You don't know what it's like. You don't know all these different things. However, the more real you can be with your kids, the more honest, the more open, not about their stuff, but about your stuff. Like don't hide it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know. And what a disservice to not really model for our kids how to handle this hard stuff that comes.
So teens go up and down like a roller coaster, right? And so they're like super happy with you and then they're super upset. And most of the time they don't know why they've made a sharp left turn, you know?
Oh, for sure.
But for me, like I have to intentionally not absorb that energy, you know? And sometimes I can't help it and I bring it on, you know what I mean? But it is so hard to not ride the wave with them and jump on all of that.
Because it's contagious.
It is contagious.
You know, bad energy is contagious.
And teens are very strong. They don't realize how powerful their emotions are in the household, especially when you have one that's a teen and then some that are not.
Right.
And then all of a sudden it feels like every conversation, it feels like every single parenting thing is going to their, like to energy to parent them at the moment, kind of almost like a newborn baby, you know, but like the other direction.
Yes.
And so, yeah, they're being there without hovering, being there without doing it for them, or, you know, kind of just being there as a coach.
Safety net. Yeah, they need their parents.
Yes.
They really, really do. And they need to know that what they're trying to say matters, that they're worth sitting down and listening to, you know, and having that conversation and being open with them in the hopes that they in turn will say, they trusted me with that.
Right.
I can trust them
Yeah.
with something that I just,
And it all goes back to teens are not bad.
No.
Like, teens are not bad. And I think so many times parents go into their teen parenting years assuming that their children are going to mess up, assuming their children are going to lie, assuming their teens are going to, you know, choose all these horrible behaviors, and then they're going to be a reflection of the family that is not okay with their standards or whatever. And I feel like that's a big fear for parents, like, oh my gosh, they're going to bring shame to us, they're going to, you know, our family's going to look like we don't have it all together, you know, and all of that, the appearance thing. And I'm thinking, okay, so what is more important, your family's appearance or the mental health of your teenager?
child.
Like, what is more
And
important?
yourself.
And yourself.
because if you're modeling that fake way of living, your mental health isn't well.
No.
And I've just come to that conclusion.
You'll notice that we are missing Heidi, and we are missing Heidi. I mean, that's a genuine statement. We're missing Heidi. She'll be off for the next couple weeks, and she's just got some surgery to do and some things to take care of, and she'll be back with us in a couple weeks. So in the meantime, I dragged my daughter along. She's super excited. Literally dragged her along to
Pretty
come
much.
here. Yeah. So I want to start off by why we're wearing pink.
That is a great question.
Why are we wearing pink, Addison?
Because the new Barbie movie came out.
Oh my gosh, have you seen the new Barbie movie?
I have.
So we're back for the second segment of our podcast.
Hello.
We're de-barbified. That's a new word I just came up with.
That's kind of sad.
Did you like that? Mm-hmm. We're de-pinkified. I would love to talk to you today about continuing like in our teen series that we've been in.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe you're a teen. So I'm just going to ask you questions and we're going to talk about it, right? About stuff with social media. What are the top apps that you use right now?
TikTok. Instagram. Snapchat. Sorry. I'm like, I couldn't think of the names.
Right.
Pretty much like those, I guess. I don't really use Snapchat to like Snapchat people like I do for a few friends, but I mainly use it for photos so I can keep them because I don't have a lot of space on my actual photos.
So how does that work? It saves it into
saves
the
it
Snapchat
into like a
app?
memory, yeah. And so then it doesn't save it to my actual camera roll, so I have a lot more space, and so I can take a bunch more photos and videos.
You have a pretty good handle on your allotted time that you give yourself
Yes.
on social media.
I try to.
What do you do with that? How do you control, I mean, you can get lost in those TikTok videos for hours and hours. How do you control that?
I actually put a like parental control thing, like a time limit on myself that I know the password, but it reminds me I do it for like an hour every day on TikTok because that's the only one that I really like can get stuck on, that it sucks me in and then I don't want to stop watching. And so then when the hour is done, I know it's been an hour and I have to like control myself and just get off of it and go find something else to do. Sometimes, and if I'm having like a bad day, I'll just type in my code and continue watching for a little while later. But most of the time I try to control myself and then just like a reminder, like get off of the app.
I know, you're amazing.
And so I'm going to hope that I don't get completely overwhelmed and can't handle it.
So if you were feeling overwhelmed, I mean, what would you do? Like if you got into the school year and you started to feel overwhelmed, what do you think is the best thing to do with that?
One thing is I'd ask how I can like not do 2 math classes because I feel like that'd probably be the like
Yep, it's called dropping a class.
base. But I'd ask if I could do that, and then I'd talk to them about ways that I can like do things easier,
And get support.
get support from it and stuff.
And I feel like communication is huge with that because I feel like a lot of times teenagers put all of this pressure on themselves, especially high schoolers, heading into graduation and all of that. They have that goal in mind and they put so much pressure on themselves. And then they don't talk to anybody about it.
Yeah.
They just hold it inside and they just keep thinking, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this all by themselves. And that's not how it's designed. You should be able to tell your teachers, tell your parents, tell your guidance counselor, even if you don't like your guidance counselor, you should be able to talk to them about it. But holding everything inside is never the answer.
That's how it is for everybody, really. But like even adults, teens, they should have somebody to talk to, especially because they have high school going on, they have friendships, they have social media that they have to worry about, all of that stuff that they should have somebody to talk to. And same with adults, they should have a best friend to talk to, or if they don't have family or friends that they can talk to about that, then go to a therapist and talk to that, or write it in a journal.
The third what? What are we getting surrounded by?
Okay, so we're trying to film our podcast today. We chose to come out to this gorgeous park. I have Tiffany here with me, and I can't make this up. There are literally 3 mowers within a small little area.
They keep coming, more and more of them.
See, he's getting closer and closer. So anyways,
getting more and more aggressive.
We're going to do the best that we can today to try to figure this out. But yeah, we're going to, we just endure. We just do life. We just do things. Hi, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. Heidi is still out and we will miss her. Pray for her during surgery this week. And we have Tiffany here with us. Tiffany joined us a couple months ago and we're super excited to have her back with us.
Thank you.
So thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
When my life gets very busy and overwhelming and like I have a lot of different stressors coming in, not necessarily like one stressor, but like there's this and there's this and there's this and there's this. It seems to like uptick, my
totally.
panic attacks and things like that. And like I said, there's no rhyme or reason for them. They just start sometimes and you're like,
well, if you're never discharging, like if you
Right.
think of it like as an adrenaline push, right? Or like and that's what you're in, your fight or flight.
right.
And if you don't ever come down from that and you're always charged,
Yeah.
then you operate from it. You know, mad. I am constantly triggered right now. Like I'm not able to bring myself
that's
into
such a good-
relaxation mode, and
Yeah.
it sucks because it affects every part of my life,
Yeah.
and that's not enjoyable.
I just thought about that
So-
the other day. I was like, when was the last time that I just relaxed?
Yeah,
I couldn't think of it. I really couldn't name like a time where I was just chill.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not-
I was like, it's just parenting. But when I was meeting with a friend recently, she said, that's really what it is now. It's just parenting is different than our parents
Yeah.
had to do it. Now it's just, you really are intentionally being that parent and you are trying. It's not that you're not going to come with hiccups.
Yeah.
But you are intentionally trying to do something different, which
Yeah.
is not what, I mean, like our parents are always doing their best, but it was just a different reality where
They
now
did what they knew.
Yeah,
And
and
then,
that's what it was. It was
right.
programming,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I feel like I was just talking to somebody about this the other day, that the older generations, they didn't dare vary from
No.
how they were raised, right? So it was
Because
like
they were
this
programmed.
generation and then this generation and then this generation, and all of a sudden it was like, wait a minute, somebody woke up and was like, this is not okay. And so things started to change.
Yeah.
And so now, like, millennials that are raising their kids were, to me, the first generation of, like, we're going to do things a little bit differently here, you know?
So we don't give ourselves the space or the grace to know that, like, this is a new reality. Like, every time you have something, like, oh, okay, you know, it's integration time, but then also telling your children, like, I'm learning as I go, too. You know, as I tell me, I'm doing my best.
And that's the thing with mom guilt. We always, no matter what choice we make, we're going to feel guilty no matter what, right?
it's
we
crazy.
could have done it different. We could have done this. We could have done that. Oh, I should have done this more. I should have done that more. Well, none of that can change anything that you've done.
Right.
You can't.
Truth. Right.
So you have to let it go.
Totally.
Otherwise, it eats you alive. So today there were a couple things that I wanted to talk about. One of them being, you guys, I have 2 boys that are looking into moving out soon. And one of them has been graduated for 2 years. The other one just graduated in May. And I don't know. I mean, it was always kind of hypothetical, and they were talking about maybe when we move out or when, you know, when this happens or that happens. Well, you guys, they're actually looking at apartments now. And it got really real for me last night and this morning when I was talking to them, and they just started asking about, well, what do we need to bring with us when we move out, and how do we know if we're ready and if we're prepared? And you raise them when they're babies and when they're toddlers, and you think, oh my gosh, am I ever going to get a night's sleep? Is this phase ever going to end? And you very rarely actually think about, you know, when they're 18, 19, 20, 21, and they actually start moving out of the house, how that's going to feel. I am proud of them. I am super excited for them to start this new phase in their life. But on the other hand, I'm devastated. I would be okay if they stayed with me for the rest of their lives. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is moms and women in general. I started this podcast for women. I started the podcast to give women a voice. And I started the podcast to not be afraid to talk about the hard subjects and the difficult issues. And, you know, women, we deal with a lot of things in our lives. One of them being loving yourself. So how do you do that well? In the end of the last episode of our podcast, we talked about, I shared a story about a woman that hated every photo that had ever been taken of her. And I encouraged her to be able to find the things in the photo that she did like. Whether it was one thing or 5 things, I just wanted her to find something. Why is that so hard for us to do as women? Why are we so critical of ourselves? I know I am. I am all the time. I mean, I'm probably sitting here on this bench thinking, is my belly hanging out or is it not? How do I look in this? And why does that matter so much? If you can learn to look yourself in the mirror and see yourself for who you are, take all your makeup off, let your hair be, take off all of your fancy clothes and put on sweatpants, and look in the mirror and fall in love with that woman. Fall in love with that girl. I know that teenagers, they deal with this especially in more of an outward way. You know, there's a lot of bullying that goes on for appearance alone. I was bullied, you guys, in 6th grade for having red hair. I was punched in the stomach by a boy for having red hair. I mean, is that something that I can control? No, it was the color of my hair. And as a teenager, I didn't have a great witty comeback for it. But now I think, that's what you had to pick on me for, was the color of my hair? You had nothing better to be able to pick on me for? And then it actually made me feel pretty good, because that was it. That's all they could find on me. So the more confident that you are, teenagers, the more confident that you are in who you are, especially heading into middle school, heading into high school. If you can learn to love yourself for who you are, all of your quirks, all of your quote-unquote faults, all the things that make you different, if you can learn to love that person, then you become so powerful, because nobody can affect you. those words that the dumb other teenagers say to you will have no effect on you because you are strong and you are confident in who you are. So always remember that. Yes.
Yeah.
I decided talking to myself is not a good idea because I didn't know I didn't know how to respond to myself. Like I was just kind of like, well, what should I talk about next? Because it was just me talking and Aaron goes, yeah, you sounded different because like you weren't interacting with somebody.
It's very
You were
different.
just talking and it was more like preachy. And I was like, yeah, we're not doing that again. I don't even know where that was.
So it's just a very different thing. And I didn't think that. And in fact, is that the one where you were wearing your beautiful? No, I think you were talking.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was
with your
like my
beautiful
backpack
shirt.
and teal.
Yes.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
actually a dress.
Where
I'll
I'm
have to show
like-
you the whole thing. It's really cute.
Yeah. I'm like, yes. She
Yep.
looks amazing.
Thank you. It is.
Then-
It's such an expensive time of year, and it's so stressful for parents to make that transition with their kids from the wild fun of summer.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden you're like, tomorrow you have to wake up for school, you know? And switch. We as teachers and as humans and people,
'Cause you
we
were a
never
teacher.
know what has happened at somebody's house
Right.
prior to getting to school.
For sure.
You know, I just remember thinking that a couple times where, something's off. I wonder what it is. But literally, you have no idea what somebody's
You
gone through.
don't.
So, and then they carry that in. So I'm thinking of Hannah, like she's like, oh my gosh, like I broke the car, you know, and then she has to go to school.
And she was
she has to function.
mortified. Every child walking into school needs to hear people say, I am so proud of you.
Yes.
You are so amazing and the world is better because you're in it. I don't understand why it's so difficult for so many people to do that or why it's so easy to not do that. It's easy to spot the people that are hurting.
Oh,
you
absolutely.
can just tell.
You can see it. You can feel it. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's an easy thing to just be kind. And if you can't even approach them and be kind, can you maybe leave them alone? Do you really have to say something?
And that's just it, too. You know, if you, and it's that cliche statement, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say
Don't
anything
say
at all.
anything
But
at
that's
all.
true.
Right.
Why spread the hate? Why spread the negativity? Why, you know, and then people are like, well, it makes me feel better. But does it?
Does it
Like,
really?
does it really? Because I don't think so. I don't
Yeah.
even think some of the worst human beings in the world feel better after they have
Oh, can I call
attacked
BS on
other
that?
people. Yeah, it is
I'm
total
calling it.
BS. No, it really is.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's a lie.
well, the weight of the world is on their shoulders.
Yeah.
They have to be performing all the time, you know, and
So they've
just
perfected faking.
yeah. I do feel like that, you know, and
It's sad. So sad.
I feel like one thing that is positive that came out of the COVID experience
Yes.
is the allowance of mental health days.
Oh.
The conversation of this student is not okay.
Mm-hmm.
And now it is okay, at least at our kids' school. I don't know if
Yes.
this is for everybody,
I hope
but
it's for everyone.
But calling our kids in for a mental health day is an excused absence.
As it
It
should
should
be.
be.
And kudos to the parents who recognize it.
Yep. Being taken over by
It's getting loud.
many,
The
many,
kid-
many
the kids
people.
are done with
So-
school and they're ready to play.
They are
so-
too. I love it. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We
Yes.
are unbelievably excited that Heidi is back with us. Oh my gosh, I have missed her.
Thank you.
More than words can
Couple
say.
things happen.
So-
I'm learning how to re-talk again without the stuff.
You are amazing. You're amazing in
So-
every way.
Oh,
Yes.
I love you
yes.
and I've missed you.
Oh, I've missed you so much. Yeah. So join us next week and please subscribe if you have
Yes,
not subscribed yet.
please.
Share, like, comment. Head over to TikTok and join us on there too. We're almost to 10,000 by
I
the
hear
way.
things are going
We have one of our
crazy.
videos at 1.7 million. The other one's
Yes.
at like 1.4 and the other one's at 1.1. So feeling
I am
pretty good about
humbled
those.
and honored that you would choose to watch
Yeah.
this podcast born of a passion and a love for doing this. So
Awesome.
this is an amazing thing.